in analyzing the control business process within the module. And this requires a configuration to be done to design the key data for module, and project system key data is mentioned below. So these are the key data structures, what they mentioned as a scope, like project coding masks. So what is how the coding mask is to be. My voice is audible, no? Hello?
Yes. Yeah.
So they're having that different KDS systems like project coding mask, how the project definition and project header need to be finalized. So that is one main KDS. So based on that only we can create the structure. So after that, project profile, then budget profile, and what are the project types? It is roads or bridges, buildings, and what are and the WBS structures. How many levels of WBS are there? How many types of activities to be given, like internal activities or external activities, and WBS substitutions. So based on this organizational element, which is need to be mandated to be substituted for that particular project, and user status profile. So who is the user going to execute? Who is to create the structure? Who is to release the structure? Who is to approve the structure? Then based on that, user fields, anything additional informations need to be put on that particular project data. We need to configure this user field, and person responsible who is taking care of that particular process or particular project, we need to mention there, and the work center where this kind of labor and other workforce planning need to be done. So that areas is to be fixed, and result analysis key, that is work in progress analysis. So how to be arrived, and that need to be configured, and settlement profile. So after construction or after completion of the particular project, where it needs to be settled. So that settlement profile need to be fixed. So this is the key data structure of the functional scope, what they given on that. And master data. So master data, the PS related master data, which Rizat is maintaining, is the WS templates and network templates and work centers. So they are having a template systems. They are already having an inbuilt templates, standard template structures on that. Standard template structures on that, and based on that, they will compress the data so that the duplication is not possible on that. So the same thing can be taken care. And related to business process and scope, the standard scope given is that creation of that standard templates, standard networks, and the work center areas, then operative project setup. So operative project setup is nothing but we need to copy from the standard WBS templates directly. Wherever, in whichever area we need to go for an operative setup, because the example is that we are having a standard template means we are having a 4 different kind of project proposal, like quarry we are having a project, we are having a road construction project. There will be a different standard WBS templates will be maintained. From there we can directly create an operative project setup. So no need to create from directly manually there. So it can be automated directly. So based on that project planning scope, how we are doing the cost planning and all this, whether you are going for an unit cost planning or rough cut planning. So based on the requirement, we can do that cost planning process, and budgeting planning and budget release, then project release and execution, then the outbound delivery and post goods issue, and project closure. So next is that some brief explanation about the process and scope what they're having. So related to the standard WBS template, the business transactions allows to create the standard structure of a project. So it is used as a baseline WBS structure while creating an operative customer project. And defaults, a WBS structure will be the formation about the project organization based on the key data structure for the WBS template. So here what happens, we will be defining everything in the template itself. What kind of WBS we need to create will be defined there itself. Similarly for network templates, so network structures that are not directly associated with the projects, and this is the project neutral structure which can be used as a template when creating the other standard networks or operating networks. So user can link these networks with standard work breakdown structure in order to create the project templates, which contains both the WBS structures and the activities assigned to the structure. So related to work centers, it will be created for the each resources and trade codes like labor, equipment, plant, and material. Wherever you need to have a workforce planning, where we need to have a work confirmation from there, we can have a separate work center so that we can adapt to that. Then operative project setup is a business transaction created as an operative project with the WBS and activity hierarchy structure in the SAP system based on the agreed WBS and activity structures. It also defaults all respective settings based on the project profile, select and carry out the substitutions up to the saving project. So here what happens, if you are creating a particular project template, we are having a project profile setup is the main requirement is that we have to have a project profile based on our scope requirement. We can create different project profiles for different projects. So accordingly, the templates can be created. Either you can create one project profile, you can assign for that to 4 different projects also. So that based on the final scope or whatever the recommendations or perspectives or we need to suggest them or we need to follow. So based on that, we can do it. So next, project planning. So during the operative project creation in SAP, so WBS network activities also set up. So user performs the resource planning on network activities, and the user can start updating the plant data of the plant and equipment, labor and material and services of the activities. So whatever the scope they are given, so they can do all this kind of activity, how much labor is needed and how much labor work activity has been done, that can be taken care in this area. So project budget and planning. So budget is approved cost structure of a project and may differ from project cost planning data and specified in the project structure. And the costs are estimated as accurately as possible during the planning phase and hence adopted as a budget or planned manually against the WBS element. So the project release and execution. The release status controls the time HR confirmation, production order confirmation, GR, GA and IR. And any financial posting or cost allocation to the WBS. So the release process in SAP is the changing the project status. When the operative project is created, all WBS elements, networks, activities will have the status of created in PS as an initial, and this need to be released for execution. Without releasing it, we cannot do any further process. We cannot do any PR releases, PO releases, and goods receipt and all cannot be done on this without releasing that. So outbound delivery and project goods issue. So the project system also provides an option of the material delivery, unlike delivery from the user can use the material components to create the deliveries, to do PJ in the project systems and consecutively deliver the material components to the customer, and they are assigned to the project. So whatever the outbound delivery and post goods issues which is linked against your WBS can be mapped or taken care in this particular area. So project closure. The project closing process is followed when the project is completely delivered, and there is no further requirement is to be carried out in any further process. In SAP, there are 2 system statuses used to close the project as mentioned below. The process of the project closure is optional and is followed based on the business requirement. Since if you are going to close a project, if you are going to technically complete the project means, then you cannot do any further process in that particular project, that based on the business requirement, whether we need to make it open or once for all we need to close it. Once it is got closed and technically completed means, then we cannot do any further process related to material requests or material receipts cannot be done on this. And some of the sample flowcharts we prepared for a better understanding. So this is the organization structure of a project. Generally, how the structure will happen. If you're going to create a project definition means these are all mandatory areas like controlling area, company code, business, profit center, plant is needed. Similarly, for the WBS area also, we need a company code. So here in this scope, what is happening, what it has been mentioned is that in specific plant or which specific plant which needs to be created, like the structure related part, they only mentioned as a project types based on the profit center category. So we need to understand which plant we need to create this particular project. So that is more vital information need to be collected. Maybe in the later stage we'll be discussing on that part. So related to that, this is the main organization structure of the project. Whenever you're going to create a project, this is a major organization structure is needed. And these are the sample flowcharts. You can just see, like project structure means how it looks. This is the project definition. This will be your first level WBS, and this will be a second level WBS. This will be the third level WBS. So first level WBS, your project header will be there, and from there you are having a design plan and construct and commission WBS will be there. In the construct area, you will be having a labor and material, because the labor is an internal processing activities will be there, and material will be an external processing activity. And similarly for the network structure, similarly for you are having a separate networks for your internal processing, and for external processing. You will be having an activity and activity scheduling, activity quantities and all you can maintain here while you're creating a networks. And for a material component, in the external material component itself, we can create a material component in your system itself. From there, you can directly give the material requirement part, and once you got released the network, automatically the PR will be generated from the system itself, from PS itself. So for the work center related category, you can give a workforce planning based on your internal activities like labor component and all. You can create the work center. Based on the work center, what is the deployment of the particular work center, what is the capacity utilization of the work center, you can just take an assessment on that, or you can record the confirmations, what all the works is happening in the particular work center. Related to the planning part, you can have a category of planning part because based on their requirement, because here they're going for a unit cost planning related things. So there are a lot of options we can give it to them, like network structure and cost element planning, usage cost planning, and orders cost planning. So this can be recommended in later stage, whichever is better for them. Choose the easier way, because they are going for a revenue related billing concept. They are going for an easy cost planning concept and DA profile concept. We can just tell in later stage, whichever is better option. So related to the budget flow, you can see the budget flow, what is the original and optional budgets based on the cost planning part. The initial stage, the cost planning part, the budget will be released with reference to the next level. Like how much you are cost planning for on 1 crore means how much budget needs to be released. Whether it can be released 50 lakhs or 75 lakhs for which WBS, how much it should be transferred. That will be taken care of the workflow mechanism, like the project manager can decide, the finance side can decide. So based on that, we can go for a written budget, supplement budget, and transfer budget for the WBS. And once it has been done, means the actual execution works will start, and after the execution will start, once we do the POs and other service orders, and after that we give the service entries, we receive the materials, the actual bills will be posted and the cost will be booked against the particular WBS. So once everything is got done, so after the final thing, the entire cost, whatever the project cost is got insert, so it will be settled to the asset under construction or the respective cost center, so that finally you can do the settlement and you can close the project. So this is what the overall understanding we got from the scope. So further to that, any improvisations, any best practices we need to be done, we can just add on that. Okay, thank you. Any questions, any doubts, you can ask.
Okay, for the project related, so what are the different type of procurements currently they have? So could you explain anything about the procurement related things?
Procurement related means external procurement or
yeah. So for example, suppose they have there is a in-house, there is a kind of department we call transport, or we can have a heavy equipment. So
okay.
how they are going to be utilizing. So for example, so generally we need a material, or we need a services is required. So in services also there are different type of services. For example, there is a subcontractor, he is in a project site, we are allocating some job work to the subcontractor. So how he is going to perform, so those kind of transactions to be monitored.
Okay.
And let's say there is a let's say we have internally there is a heavy equipment, there is a separate department.
Okay.
They are let's say 5,000 plus vehicles, heavy equipments related to for the construction related vehicles they have. So how they are going to utilize?
Okay.
So how they are going to utilize? So
because in the scope point of view, that material procurement related part based on the purchase organizations, because it can be done through the PS itself. Whatever the material component they need to be created, they can create the material requirement component. If there is a, because they already mentioned in their scope, in the KDS itself, they already given it very clearly related to the network and standard WBS template. So what we will be doing in that, while creating the standard network itself, we will be creating the material component itself. In the network area itself, we will be creating the material components. Once they are going for an operated project, means only they need to mention the quantity and they need to release the network, and they will directly go for a request from there. So then afterwards it will go for a purchasing process after that.
Yeah, yeah. So there are so many scenarios we will discuss. Still, we have a time.
Yeah.
So anyway, nice presentation from
Yeah.
yeah, PS. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.